I'm here today with the Sonder Transmitter from Alpkit. I've had this bike just over a year now and I feel it's a good time to give a long-term review. On this particular model, we've got 27.5-inch wheels, we've got 11 gears on the back, hydraulic brakes and RockShox Revelation front forks. Since getting the bike, I've turned it tubeless. So there's no inner tubes on the inside of this. This is a completely tubeless setup I've got it on it now. I've got Schwab knobby nick tyres on it as well, which differ to the tyres that came with the original Sonder bike. Now I had to swap them off because I didn't find they were lasting very well, particularly the back tyre. Now, I was doing quite a bit of sliding on trails, but not masses. But I just found they really didn't hold out very well and the grip was gone within seconds, especially on the edges. So that's why I've swapped over to these Schwab ones for now. The other upgrade made on the bike is these nuke-proof handlebar grips. I've got them in bright yellow, I love it, it sets it off from the blue, but also they're a lot more durable, again, than the grips that came originally with the bike. The grips I had, I do grip quite hard on the handlebars, but not enough to warrant the amount of damage that was done to them, so I didn't feel like they were quite up to the mark, so I swapped them for these nuke-proof ones. They were £15 and well worth the upgrade. One of the biggest things about the Sonder Transmitter is that array of forks you can get with it. The RockShox Revelations really do a brilliant job of going over pretty much anything in your path. That's what I love about this bike, is you can see a rocky trail ahead of you and this bike will go over it. It's got a willingness to just go forwards no matter what. There's a bridle path near me, it's full of big boulders, huge stones, really weird shapes, and honestly, it just flies all the way down to the bottom. I'm not the most technical rider in the world either, and they still do the job every single time. I really do love these Revelation forks. Most Sonder bikes now come with a 12th gear. This only comes with 11 gears because it's their older model. 11 gears, to be honest, I find is absolutely fine on these bikes. I've ridden one of the ones with 12 gears, and to be honest, it was a bit too much. You kind of jump into that 12th gear going up a steep hill, and it's really slow, and I feel like just having that 11th gear, it still gives you the ability to get up really steep things, but you're pushed to do it at a bit more speed than you would if you had that 12th gear on there. My transmitter comes in this matte blue. Now the matte blue isn't available anymore with newer transmitter models. There is a brilliant reason for that. And it's because it doesn't last very well, the paintwork. It chips very poorly. There are multiple chips all over this bike frame, which I'll show you with the camera in a second. And to be honest, I'm not very impressed with how it's held up. Sonder have swapped away from those matte models now over to the more glossy look, and apparently those last a bit longer than the matte frames, and I should hope so because this paintwork is appalling for how much use it gets. One of the good things about the frame though is the geometry of it. It really makes you sit down into the trail. You feel quite grounded to what you're riding over. And as I said, it gives the bike that willingness to go forwards. It gives you that attack angle on the jumps, on the trails, persistently trying to get to the bottom. And these tyres roll so well. That paired with the frame, it just grounds you. It sits you in the moment of that trail. And Sonder really have nailed it with everything on this frame. A couple of last things to note before we wrap it up really. Brakes, very sharp, really good. You can be going flat out, and if you position yourself right, you can stop dead within a few meters, to be honest, just because of how sharp those hydraulic brakes are, and also how big the discs are as well on the brakes. Gears change seamlessly. You do have to look after them though, because I gave it a few weeks of riding without doing too much maintenance, and all of a sudden the gears became quite jumpy. After service, they're fine again, and they really do shift very well all the way through. You obviously haven't got a front gear on this as well, which is that shift away from having front gears on mountain bikes that we've seen generally in the past few years, and it just gives you a wider range. It doesn't give you quite as high gears, but I don't think that's much of an issue nowadays. People are doing more downhill trails in particular, and having higher gears really isn't something that's notable. The handlebars on the transmitter are also very wide, and they give you that maneuverability on those tight trails. They really do move with ease, seamlessly, and I do love them. The only problem is some trails by me, I'm over in Bowland Forest, we've got Gisborne Forest nearby, there's a lot of trees, and they can be quite narrow on the trails. Getting them through, I've had it every now and then where I'll be maybe half an inch off the handlebars, so you really have got to get it right, but it just adds to that whole technical side of it, and at the end of the day, if you ride the trail right, you won't have a problem. So the question is, should you buy a Sonder transmitter, especially in comparison to something like the Sonder Frontier? Well, the main difference is, this is a proper downhill mountain bike. It's meant for ploughing through those trails, clearing the jumps, and if that's what you want to do, this is a perfect hardtail for that. I've seen a lot of hardtails on the market, I've tried a lot in the past as well, and nothing's really lived up to the value for money you get in this bike. Now, I got this as an ex-demo model, so this cost me just over £1,000. If you wanted the spec today, it would be closer to 2,000, so I did get a very good deal on it, but I mean, there's not really much else you could want in a hardtail bike, and even if I was paying £2,000 today, I'd go back and pay it. It's a brilliant bike. I definitely get a tubeless setup because I've swapped over to that and I love it. I mean, I've had it a couple of days and I haven't even tried it out on trails yet, but I can already tell that it's just so much better than having inner tubes in. And I haven't got a dropper post on this model as well. That's something you can have on the transmitters nowadays. You have a button just on the handlebars, you drop it, hydraulic dropper post, and if I was buying one today, I'd probably get that option added on just because of how often I'm going down trails and I think, oh, gotta stop, get the Allen key out, drop the seat post down. I spend a lot of my time just riding with the seat really low. I've got it quite high to be fair today compared to normal. But anyway, that's my summary of the Sonder transmitter. I do love this bike, it's brilliant. I upgraded from a decathlon bike to this and it is insanely good. If you're looking for a hardtail bike, this is the one for you if you've got the budget, and go out and get it. I'll see you next time.